So auditing the schedule basically entails every day you're going to audit for that day and for the next day. And auditing means that you're looking at travel cards, which I don't know if you want to explain what travel cards are, but
I think most doctors know what a travel card is. So even though a lot of our processes are electronic, there's a couple of paper processes that we maintain because I feel like it makes the systems go smoother. So patients have a written, a printed travel card that has 24 appointment slots on it, front and back, 12 on each side. And various departments in the clinic, as they're going through their care, we can initial, we can sign off, we can make notes. It helps with checking charges, which is another process that we do, and making sure that our billing is accurate and that a person is going through care as they should.
Right. And so I think the biggest thing with a travel card is that different staff will sign off on different services that were rendered. So you sign off when someone's adjusted. I sign off when I do a re-exam. Emily signs when she does functional movement with someone, things like that. And so it helps us keep track of what a patient has done on each visit. And so since we have a 3-in-1 approach with the clinic, we have specified plans for patients. And so most of the time that entails getting adjusted, doing traction, so CBP, FM, and a couple other things that we'll kind of throw in there depending on where they are in their care plan. And so checking every day, making sure that proper services are scheduled for that person, for that appointment, making sure what visit they're on, if they need a re-exam, when they're due for x-rays, certain types of special appointments, so like re-reports, going over x-rays that were taken at the end of a 12-week process, things like that. And so every day auditing the schedule basically just entails making sure that the patient is scheduled for what they should be scheduled for that day.
Okay, so zooming out on that, as far as why a doctor or the staff should care about auditing the schedule, you should care about it because we're assuming that you've put a clinical plan together for your patient. Okay, that's step one. Believe it or not, Jenna, a lot of clinics don't do that.
That would stress me out.
Okay, it's like play it by ear, visit by visit.
Yeah.
So we teach how to not do that because that's chaos. We don't like chaos. Chaos is unpredictability. You want to predict and know what's going to happen. So one is you have a mapped out game plan for your patient. You also have a mapped out expectation for them for their financial obligation for that care.
Yes.
Whether it's insurance billing, personal injury, self-pay using ChiroHealth USA, whatever, right? Now, the patient has a set plan, a timeline. They have days they're scheduled to come in. They have a certain frequency they're supposed to come in, right? There's a start and a finish date proposed. It's a 12-week process initially where we're going through a corrective phase of care. If that's what we're doing with a patient, which the vast majority of our patients, we go through that type of phase. That's why a lot of people seek us out, or that's what makes us different. So early on, if they don't know that's what they're getting themselves into, we educate them. They go, man, that's awesome. That sounds exactly what I need to do. And, most people are on board with it. So patients going through care, we have to make sure that all the services are rendered like they're supposed to be. The checkpoints are happening. Things are being coded properly, billed properly, scheduled properly, and everything's going as predicted. That's the purpose of auditing the schedule, is to make sure that patients stay on track, right? And to make sure that our schedule, when we look at it, we have the appropriate appointment types and things scheduled that day, and we don't have conflicts in our schedule.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. And we've had in the past, because I'm relatively new to auditing, that wasn't always part of my role at the clinic, but I think the new patient, for my position between me and the front desk, I think it's a great thing for me to do because I'm the one, we build recommendations together for patients. Like, you're giving the recommendations, I'm just writing them down, but it helps me because I know what's coming up and what to look out for. So does other staff, but it's just an easy process for me to look at. And so part of auditing is looking at the schedule and making sure, like, are we overbooked on certain times? Do we have too many special appointments per shift? Things like that. And so auditing is very valuable in that sense.
And auditing also prevents having POPs.
What's that?
Pissed off patients. Remember? POPs.
That's good. That's good.
POPs, which...
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right. People saying I waited too long, or, and it's usually something where, like, I waited too long, or I came in and it was too hectic.
Right.
And so that's something that you can look at the schedule and you can know this is not going to work.
Yeah.
This is going to be chaos.
Right. And so part of this auditing process is say it's Monday. I'm auditing again for Monday. I already audited on Friday, but over the weekend, people call in, they cancel. We have people trying to get added to the schedule. And so we re-audit day of, and then I'm also auditing for the next day. So it's not necessarily day by day. I'm also looking at the next day and even the day after that to make sure that we aren't going to run into those problems and have POPs.
So when do you audit? How long does that process take?
So Monday morning, I'm going to audit for Monday and I'm going to audit for Tuesday. Auditing for Monday, it's a longer shift. We have you and Dr. Zach both in. So maybe 30 to 45 minutes, depending. If I was just coming in freshly, haven't even looked at Monday's schedule, it might take longer than that. But also, since I've been auditing, I can look at a patient and I'm like, I know I audited them last week, so I'm going to just quickly check. I've already, when I first started auditing, there was a lot of things that I was catching that needed to be added, so it took longer. So
things you were catching, like what?
Not proper appointments being scheduled, not future appointments being scheduled. There was lots of patients leaving the clinic without a future appointment. So that's like putting a note on their travel card. That's a process that I was going to say that someone else developed before me, but I've been continuing it and adding onto it, is adding like a little sticky note on their travel card that says schedule this patient. And so when that patient comes into the clinic, front desk grabs their travel card, hands it to them, but then they look at it and they say, oh, we need to get you scheduled for some more appointments. And so that has been really helpful. So that makes auditing easier. Also in the sense where I can look at say they have 20 future appointments scheduled. I can make sure that each appointment has proper services. Their x-rays are scheduled when they should be. It's not like every single time they come in, we're adding a new appointment. So I have to recheck everything, count how many functional movement appointments they've had, count how many times they've done traction. Like having future appointments scheduled makes that so much easier.
So essentially, even though we have a recall system and we have a text message reminder, we have all these things, this is another checks and balances to see if someone fell through the cracks or if we find someone, that doesn't have future appointments scheduled. Thanks for watching this clip from the Move Now Chiropractor podcast. And be sure to join our free Facebook group, Functional Movement for Chiropractors, to learn more about how Move Now University can help you with your systems and your clinical practice. Be sure to watch our 30-minute pre-recorded demo at demo.movenowu.com. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on the next one.